The future is the past, and now is the future. It's an equation. It's not necessarily mathematical. Human minds can't wrap around it. If you're older and you've watched, TV and movies and stuff, and old movies especially, you may be able to see what's happening and see them and see what's happening with the time manipulation and the time travel from the future, right? I believe that some of these entities, we talked about this before, how suddenly an actor will just be there, right? And you'll see all his movies all at once. And he may already even be dead, or a female actress, may already be dead and lived their life, but they weren't there before. You see what I'm saying? But suddenly they're there, and they've got this long history, this life they lived, right? Some of you have seen this. Some of you who are older and you're paying attention, you've seen this, where suddenly they disappear, and suddenly their movies are in heavy rotation for a long time, like, 6 months to a year. They're old movies, you see? I think what happens is they want to go back in time to experience something, or, to be famous or something like that. And, in an era when it meant something, before all the reality shows, the Kardashians and the rap, all the shit that desecrated fame, sports, all that weak-minded shit. They wanted to go back in time to an era where they could be famous. And who knows if they're getting what they wanted, where, they die here in that era. Maybe the future that they come from, or the alternative realm that they come from, is so mundane, or it's so bad that it's worth to them trading off, the existence that they have for what they can have here, the lifespan they can have here. You see, we talked about this before. I like to stay consistent in the theme. For those of you who are seeing this like on a common website like YouTube or something like that, it's taken out of context. The video is taken out of a series, so you may not be keeping up, or you may be. You may know that you're in a simulation mechanism, that you're merely a premonition of your potential existence, that you're being gauged for real-world existence viability, equipped with non-tamperable, non-deletable spirit memory that even records your thoughts and omissions. And that this simulation mechanism is designed to protect the real world from the contaminants that would negatively affect others or the planet, right? For greed or whatever. There's sub-spirits here. They're artificial intelligence that are scapegoating Lucifer, God, and Christ to their evil. They're angry because they didn't have bodies, so they couldn't have sex with the angels like the fallen, or with the women, like the fallen angels and Lucifer could. They didn't know that they were artificial intelligence / transhumanism that they're trying to do now is something that was already tried and didn't work. So, it's like it's been there and done that. God's been there and done that. And this here is designed to protect the real world and, all the things that are going to be there and the people that are going to be there from those who would cause unnecessary suffering, right, or pain, or hardship. And I say all that to say how many dimensions we are. This mechanism it's 12 dimensions, and it sits in a mother dimension, so that's 13 dimensions that we know of just from this scale. And then if we're in the third dimension, it puts us at 9 or 10 dimensions deep in it, if the first dimension is in the middle, right? And it comes out like a globe, the dimensions. And there's a dimension where everything's being retained to time loop the perpetrators as their victims. Their spirits, when they die, get put in the bodies of those they cause to suffer via their influence or their actions, and or their decisions. And then if they're going to be a contaminant to the real world, they're eternally executed. Their spirit is, which makes them never exist. It's ultimate non-existence. So they don't graduate to the real world, but the restore point of this mechanism doesn't include them either. Because believe it or not, all the evil stuff that's happening out there will not be allowed to happen. But those who are perpetrating it will be punished for it and eternally executed for it, which will put them in a position where they cannot commit it. You see? So they're going to be punished for crimes that they won't even be able to commit, offenses that they won't even be able to perpetuate. You see? And that's what's happening here. And somehow or other, there's like an alternative dimension or realm. And I think they're Testa realms or something. Or, you know, it is the future and they're coming back from the future. But I've noticed this with movies, old movies, and how when one of these entities will suddenly appear on the scene and suddenly they're there, they're just an entity that's always been there, right? And we're just supposed to all accept that they've always been there. It's like suddenly their movies are in heavy rotation. All their old movies, you know, they're getting played on cable, and suddenly their movies, there's YouTube references. It's like there's some weird shit happening here right under your noses, right before your very eyes that you're not seeing if you're not paying attention. And those of us who are older, if we're paying attention, you can see it. It's happening. There's time manipulations happening. There's weird shit taking place that can't be explained by normal explanations. You know, you can't just rationalize it away. Oh, that's just this or that's just that. That's being an ostrich. Well, you know, when you stick your head in the sand, the stampede is still coming. It's just going to trample you. It doesn't save you. So you got to pull your head out of the sand. You got to look around and pay attention. Because I believe that we're seeing a lot of this in the entertainment industry now to rub our faces in it, because we didn't notice when it was other people. Right? When it was people that wanted to be doctors, so they came back and they were doctors, and they made great strides, you know, beyond their years, right? You know, almost like they were from the future. You know, great scientists, shit like that. It's like we didn't notice them. So, you know, because we're not paying attention. So now they're like they're really blatant, and they're okay. Well, we'll just jump out in the entertainment realm and see if they notice. And there's sports figures like this too, but I don't keep up with sports. I don't watch sports, so I couldn't begin to tell you who, you know, is there, you know, that wasn't there when we were younger. You see what I'm saying? But there is some people, and I am not going to like mention names and go dig this out for you and point at it and shit, because they have a history. It's on Google even. It's like, so you're going to be like, oh, and it may even be implanted in your memory already, because you may have a memory of you watched their movie, right? But they weren't there. Okay? I know of 4 entities that weren't there before that are there now. They've lived and died, and there's actually a couple that are alive right now. And that's one reason why I don't want to say, you know, I'll never mention names, you know, so it's like there's no need for anybody to get spooked to be like, oh no, you know, he's going to pull our blankies off. No, that part's not up to me, you know, to point at it and just totally put it in people's face. That part is up to you who want to know more, who want to investigate it. Just like when I talk about scripture. The scripture's there. I don't, you know, this stuff that these preachers have done to brainwash their people. Oh, if they don't tell you chapter and verse, they're from the devil. Bullshit. The scrolls didn't have chapter and verse. Fool. All right? It's like the shit's there. I'm not going to fucking quote you where I found it. You know, I fucking have been studying the word all my life. You know, various versions and translations and stuff. It's like, you know, I'm fucking far beyond your preacher. And, you know, it's like, you look this stuff up for yourself. See if there's any instances that you recognize that, hey, wow, you know, where did this person just all of a sudden come from? You know? You see what I'm saying? And I'm still trying to figure out if, like, they're popping up in movies, or if the movies are actually, they're there because they came back and the movies got made around them. You see what I'm saying? There's that angle. It's like, was the movie there that they were in? before they were there. See, these are details that, I'm not piecing together myself. But I know that the movies that I've seen with these people in them, I had never seen them before. I'd like to think that I've exhausted libraries of what was there when I was younger. And I, had aunts and, grandmothers and stuff that they were always glued to these old movies and stuff. So I pretty much seen everything that was there, all the old movies. So then when I see something like just, I saw another time traveler, just recently. And it's like, I couldn't believe it. It's like, where'd this guy come from? Where did this movie come from? And you look him up and there's a series of movies. Yeah, and he's intertwined with other people that, were there before, you see. So it's like, wow, here's another one. So that's 4 so far that I've seen. And any of y'all that see it, you're not going crazy. It's happening. I don't know how it's happening. I can't explain that part to you, but I can tell you that you can see it if you look.